Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Astro Weekly here. So, listen, let me get my pen up here so I can show you what we're talking about. But we have a full week that we're going to be going through, and it has a little bit of everything. But let us just start out here today, September 11th. Let's start off with a little silent moment together where we can reflect upon September 11th. Way back when, which went down in history. We all feel it. We all think about it. It's a collective unity among all of us. And actually, it's really showing up here in the chart for today, too, where we have Venus, which is love, and we have Pluto, which is rebirth of a situation that went down, and that was the towers that went down. And we can see when we have that square, it's really talking to our emotions, and it feels difficult. So we're still all releasing this situation that was really, really hard on everybody, and especially for all of those you out there that was personally connected to this situation. So we start off the morning in that prayer, should I say. And I say prayer because our emotions here are really connected to Neptune today. And Neptune rules spirituality. So it's for those of you who are off to church or you're spiritual, whatever you do. You might have your weekly meditations here today. But it is a very inspired time where our emotions connect to that higher inspiration. And hey, listen, for those of you who are artists in any way, shape, or form, musicians or painters, dancers, that kind of thing, well, you might just find yourself highly inspired today to express this vision that you are receiving. And it's powerful because it's connecting to Pluto, which is really deep felt, right? So it's getting to the core of the essence of who we are. It's scoring off on Venus. So our emotions are connected to this Venus-Pluto square. And so even in the art, should I say, whether it's a dance or a piece of music that you're writing or listening to, it will invoke those emotions, perhaps of loss. And the symbolism of that loss, the transformation, how what happened is renewing us, each and every year when we get close to this time, it renews and it builds, and it also creates a new type of strength in our consciousness. So, but by the end of the day, I feel that your emotions are evening out, all right? As the sun and the moon here are happy together and very expressive here with Mercury. So maybe some of you will meet up in groups tonight and speak about your experience of today. Now, the moon is in Capricorn, and of course, the ruler of Capricorn is Saturn, which gives us that feeling, that emotion of being a little sober. Okay, so we're sober emotionally here today, and will be into Monday for a little bit before that moon ingresses into Aquarius. And Aquarius is more, should I say, aloof. It is open to wanting to have more freedom. It is detached more than, say, it's totally opposite actually of Saturn, which really wants to combine and hold and hoard, should I say, the energy. Uranus wants to be free. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So we want this freedom of mind, soul, spirit. And this is going to be with us here over these next few days. And it will be laying in the background of all of these transits here is that feeling of freedom. Now, let's take a look at Monday here. Communication, which is Mercury, is squaring off on Mars. And so we have a little bit of diverse energy here. Mercury's thinking in this direction. Mars is acting out in this direction. So we're not really one with ourselves. Okay, so be careful. In the morning traffic, do not text and drive, okay? Texting, which is communication. Mars is driving, right? Pay attention. I see it's coming together a little bit more here as we progress throughout the day, but people are a little antsy. They might be a little short-tempered because of this Marsy energy that's here, and you might feel a little edge of it, but you can come to encounter perhaps people around you or coworkers. If they're a little snappy, well, then that could be it, right? Just know it's Mars. It's going to pass pretty quickly. I feel here too that you might be up against this snappiness here midday when the moon encounters Uranus, because out of the blue somebody might say something and you might look at it and go, what? Right? So a little bit unexpected there. Uranus is great when it's well aspected. That is always like good news, right? But when it is like this, we might just feel that something came out of the left that we didn't expect. But I see you taking it with a pinch of humor, okay? You're going to be able to let go and move on. Thanks to Jupiter. Jupiter will come around and say, hey, it's okay. I can do this, right? So forgive, let go, and keep on laughing. That's the key word of Jupiter. It always has that great sense of humor, and it will bring you up from any sense of depth if you allow it to, all right? It bounces back. Now, on the 13th, we're still here with Moon in Aquarius, so regardless of what sun sign you are, right now you're embodying the spirit of Aquarius. So you're feeling that you're wanting change. You may not know where that change is coming from, but you would really like it. And here the Sun and Mars today, they're up against each other in a square, and a square is a 45 degrees angle. So it's like hitting the wall. The Sun is you and Mars is energy, right? And so you're going to have to try to balance yourself today so you don't become too overly impulsive, which is really easy to do whenever you have those days throughout the month and you act without thinking or without looking, then you know this is where it comes from, guys, right there. Throughout the afternoon and evening, it's a beautiful day. You're feeling grounded and well. Once you get beyond this aspect, you're going to feel that you have regained control, and you're satisfied with it, because then remember that Saturn is the governor. You are the government of your community, your internal community, that is, right? And so here, when you're feeling well balanced, well, your mood, which is the moon, is now harmonious with Venus, and of course Venus is all about love. It's romance. You're just feeling very generous, wanting to give, wanting to share some time with your loved one. But hey, also Venus, of course, rules money, and since Saturn is there, and Saturn's wanting to secure you in a good, positive way, it's also wanting to secure the financial aspect or the relationship aspect that you have. So great day to go out to dinner or spend time with your significant other. Now here on the 14th, we are looking at Wednesday, and here we are aligned as opposed to where we were yesterday. This moon, your emotions here, they're at one. They're really coming out towards the same goal. You are really from the get-go getting up in the morning feeling energized, and it's like you got everything lined up before you even get to work today, and you're going to be able to accomplish a lot in a very short amount of time, and that is because you are at one with yourself. But Uranus also rules time. It's like Mercury can rule time as well, but Mercury is more like the linear time, whereas Uranus is a totally different dimension time-wise. It can speed things up. Sometimes you can accomplish so much in a little bit amount of time, and it's like, hey, why doesn't it always work that way? At other times feels like it's drawn out and slow and different. So the time factor of the speeding up and the slowing down, that's always here coming from Uranus. So Uranus is greatly ruled today, so you're going to accomplish a lot. Beautiful day. In the evening, we are turning more emotional now, which we will be for the next couple of days. Our spiritual self is now going from the detached Aquarian type consciousness into more of a deeper emotional type consciousness of Pisces. we're more sensitive right now, and Pisces is open. It's like an open funnel to the universe, our crown chakra. And as we start out here this morning, pay attention to if you were dreaming something special. That could really trigger a vision. Neptune typically rules visions. It rules dreams. It might keep you going throughout the day, wanting to daydream, to hang on to whatever that vision was. And Saturn is saying, well, you can't just play and dream here today. You got to get work done. That might be a little bit annoying because, of course, Saturn is the taskmaster, right? So it keeps you stuck to your obligations. It's more like the parent saying, you got to do your homework first, then you can play. So it's like that governor within your mind saying, I got to do this, I got to complete this first, then I can go back to that dream, that beautiful flow of emotions and feelings and dreaminess, and recapture that into the evening. And if you can, let me tell you that Pluto will give it a magical touch, okay? There's something transformative here towards the evening of tonight here on the 15th, and Pluto is very deep in that sense. I like to say magical because why? There's such passion in it, and we're not just talking physical passion. There's a lot of passions. It's what you put your heart, your mind to, so you can really accomplish something very special. Say if you are a musician and you received a tune, some lyrics in the morning, and that's where you wanted to play further with, right? But you couldn't because of daytime job. If you can recapture that in the evening, you will come to see the outcome of it. The manifestation of it could be just absolutely a piece of art work, that is. Okay, so let's move into Friday. And Friday here we have the full eclipse. It's a lunar eclipse. Of course, here, this is going to be a very potent day. If you look at the transits here today, the aspects are all somewhat complicated. Okay, we got oppositions, we got squares. And, of course, the eclipse in itself, since it is a lunar one, it's asking us to look at our emotions of the past. The past is what the lunar eclipse is. And then to top it off, we have Mercury here, which is retrograde, also asking us to look to the past. Past situation, past people, issues, and so forth. It's time to retweak, let go. Let go is a keyword of the eclipse itself. Whatever is toxic, we want it out. The universe wants it out. Out of your system, out of your consciousness, out of your heart, right? Why? So that we can rinse and cleanse ourselves, renew ourselves, create more space so we can start taking in new, healthier things in our life. So we are processing with this opposition. So it may not be it may not be easy. It could be a little difficult up against our thoughts, right? If you have questions, let me tell you one thing before I move on with that. It's like if you're trying to figure out something, say a solution or an outcome for whatever it is you're working on, if you ask your mind, which is Mercury, your mind will give you maybe up to 1,000 different answers. And it's like, okay, now you are just as stuck as when you started to ask the question, because what do I choose? Which direction do I go, right? So avoid asking your mind for those very important solutions. Where you want to ask is your heart chakra. Why? Because the heart is ruled by truth. And your heart can only give you two answers. It's either a yes or no, right or wrong, or whether this feels good or bad. It won't give you 1,000 different solutions. You can never get lost like you can with your mind. So when you have an emotional choice to make, don't go with your rational mind. It's better to go with your heart. You will go straight to the core. You will find your answer, because believe it or not, there's so many people that even lie to themselves without knowing it, right? Because we're in denial of having to look at certain truths, because then we might have to take an action in a direction we really don't want. So it's easier to close our eyes to it, right? But when you ask your heart and you're totally honest with yourself, that raw energy of insight will go, oh my God, I see what I need to do. So the moon not only will go through this inner conversation of Mercury retrogrades past, but you're looking at the action. Now you know what to do, because action is required. Your emotions are square to Mars, meaning I have to act. I can't wait. I can't procrastinate. I need to do it now. Why? Because I can see it. I can see where that split is. What split? It is the moon opposing the sun. The moon, your inner self, opposing your conscious self. So the subconscious and the conscious self, they're looking at each other with a full view of deeper truth. Now, the eclipse here today is going to help you now let go of what it is you're choosing to. So this is a very, very important day here. Friday might not be the best of times maybe to go out. Why? Because it's an internal spiritual time. However, if you want to go out, you can go out, of course. But people are process, whether they're conscious or not, of what's going on out there in the universe, the people you will be encountering are full of their own processes here tonight. So if you pay attention to it, you will come to see it. It's really interesting too, isn't it? Okay, so here in the evening, we are moving out of Pisces, which is more that spiritual inner attunement, and we are becoming more dynamic, where the moon is moving into Aries. That's the conquistadors. So we're firing up, and we get up here on this Saturday morning, and we're feeling totally aligned with a mission to complete. Maybe because of what went on there on Friday, now we know what we need to do. We're on top of it. We feel good about it. Why? Because we know we have come to some truth. We've come to some reality. And once we see it, we just want it done, right? So it's going to kick into action with speed and change. And your emotions are looking at it from a different perspective. It's opposing Jupiter. So that means Jupiter is giving you a vision, a larger picture of what you're feeling. And the groundedness that you're going to feel is you now mastering your own situation. The moon here with Saturn, that's you taking control, feeling now that you have control, and that sets you free. And it's setting you free from what? It's setting you free from those things that have been difficult and toxic in the past. So then healing can start once it passes, and it's only a few hours because it's a moon aspect. The moon doesn't linger for days and weeks. It's only a few hours. So throughout the evening here of Saturday the 17th, you will come to see that that release is now starting to empower you. You're getting more of that. It's you taking your power back, actually, essentially. So looking back at the whole week here, you could see it's been a very important week, especially because of this eclipse. We got that Mercury retrograde going on. So yes, transformation, absolutely. So now you can go over to your tarot and listen to what the week can show you from the Psychic Tarot, what now is coming up for you there. And I will see you guys.